Welcome to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show. Coming up on today's show, we will be talking about a 3,700-mile walking trail, vacationing in Monaco, starting at $1,500, and that includes the airfare, and all the new cruise ships coming in 2026. Let's start the show. The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, contains travel deals, promotions, and offers that may be time-sensitive. All offers and information were accurate when the show aired. Travel deals and offers change constantly and are capacity controlled and subject to change without notice.
Explore your world. It's the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Call or text the show now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700. And check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. And now, here are your hosts, Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
Helping humanity get out and see the world. This is the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show. Hello there. I am Patrick Wiscombe alongside Mark Faldmo. He will be here in just a moment. Coming up in today's show, we will be talking about a walking trail that connects the state of Washington all the way to Washington, D.C. Not really a bookable vacation, but we'll give you the details anyway. And we're going to tell you to go west, young man. And we'll be talking about a vacation in Monaco. And I'm not making this up, starting at $1,500. And that includes the airfare, and we'll talk about all the new cruise ships coming in 2026. If you are brand new to the show, the entire purpose of this radio show and podcast each weekend is to help you plan and book your next vacation, or just give you ideas of where you may want to consider going on vacation next. And we are presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, and a sincere thank you every Saturday and Sunday for taking the time to stop and listen. And Mark Faldmo, you have been busy. Man, you have been booking a ton of vacations.
I have. There's a lot of interesting places to go out there, and people are coming up with things to challenge me and get some good trips booked.
What has been, from a logistical standpoint, the most challenging vacation that you've had to plan?
Well, I did a pretty interesting Scandinavia trip, and I actually have that on the docket to talk about on a future show. But it was a multi-destination involving planes, trains, automobiles, and ferries all around Scandinavia.
Let's get to the travel news headlines. American Airlines has eliminated, or is eliminating, baggage recheck for London to Dallas flights. This is amazing news. Explain to listeners why this is such a significant development.
This is significant. Generally, when you're traveling internationally back to the U.S., you have to go through customs immigration, get your bags, and recheck your bags. American Airlines is starting this pilot program right now. It's only on London Heathrow to Dallas Fort Worth Airport, where you actually clear customs at the arrival gate. It's probably a facial recognition thing. Then just walk out into the airport like a domestic flight. So you don't have to go through a long walk to customs immigration, get your bags, recheck your bags, and then re-go through security.
That would be a pain in the tuchus.
Hopefully, American and other airlines will start to roll out programs like this at other U.S. airports.
There's a 3,700-mile trail that will connect Washington State to Washington, D.C. It doesn't sound like anything you can really book, but man, what an adventure to walk the entire U.S.
It's called the Great American Rail Trail. So it's all built on abandoned railroad lines. It's 3,700 miles that connects Washington, D.C. to Washington State and goes through 12 states. There's already 2,000 miles of this already open, offering walkers and cyclists scenic and traffic-free way to see the country. I suppose there is a vacation to come out of it. If you like biking, you could bike across the U.S.
That sounds like Patrick.
Yes. that does. That's why I put it in. I know you like your bike.
I'm 95 miles away from riding my bike 7,000 miles.
Yeah, so you could have ridden that trail round trip, Washington to Washington.
Alaska Air is expanding right here on the West Coast.
This was done in response to a news story that we actually didn't cover, but Avelo Airlines, which is one of the low-cost air carriers, completely pulled out of the West Coast. And Burbank was one of their big hubs, and so they're leaving Burbank. Alaska Airlines is coming in to fill that void. And also Breeze Airways, I heard, is also coming in to fill that void. But starting in October, Alaska Airlines is going to offer more flights between Washington, Oregon, California, and Idaho, particularly filling that void from Burbank Airport.
Always in this first segment of the show is the destination of the week, and we are talking about vacationing in Monaco, including airfare, starting at $1,500. We're going to give you the details right now, but you received a text earlier this week from Michael. And if you have travel-related questions, call or text the show, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700. Michael is asking, he wants to go on vacation in Monaco and Monte Carlo, and his question to you, and I think you've already answered his questions, was how do you get there, and what is there to do, and how much is it?
First, I'll answer his question. The easiest way to get to Monaco or Monte Carlo. Monaco is the country, Monte Carlo is the city, but it's all one place. The easiest way is to fly into Nice, France, which is about 20 miles away, about 45 minutes away by car. There also is a helicopter transfer between the airport in Nice and Monte Carlo. Or another way you could see that is to actually stay in Nice and just take day trips to Monaco, and that will save you a little bit of money. But those are the two ways you could really get to Monaco and really experience it.
Have you ever been to Monaco?
I have.
Oh, you have been there.
Last night I saw the movie F1 for the first time. That is probably what Monaco is famous for, is the Monaco Grand Prix. And they just leave the track basically set up in the country. So all of the race rumble strips are just set up all over town. If you're driving on the track, you still have those red and white rumble strips. Yeah, so it's still there. I stayed when I was there at the Fairmont Monte Carlo Hotel, which is right on that sharp hairpin curve that's famous in the Monaco Grand Prix. It actually is right at their driveway for the Fairmont. Monaco kind of has two areas to stay. One is the Riviera, which is on the beach, and the other is kind of in the main town or marina. So the Fairmont Monte Carlo is on the water, but it's not in the Riviera. It's closer to the main part of town. That's probably my favorite hotel to stay at there, but it is pretty pricey. Other hotels you could stay at, there's one called the Port Palace, which is in the marina, the Le Méridien Beach Plaza, which is in the Riviera, the beach area, or there's a hotel called the Riviera Marriott, which is in the Port Marina area. Those are kind of the, four hotels that I would recommend staying at if you're going to stay in Monte Carlo. And in just a minute, we'll get to the pricing on that. One of Michael's questions was, what are some of the things to do in Monaco? Probably the most popular thing to do is go to the Princess Palace, which is set up on a hill, great views, a lot of history of the monarchy there, of the Grimaldi family, who first kind of settled that area in the year 1297. And they've ruled it ever since. So, there's a lot of history there. Another thing that I found really interesting when I was there was the Oceanographic Museum of Monaco. It's all about the ocean, but the curator of the museum was Jacques Cousteau for several years.
There's got to be a casino there.
That's the next thing. A lot of people, especially the James Bond fans.
Oh, yeah.
The Monte Carlo Casino. Mm-hmm. The first time I went there, you had to wear a jacket and tie to get in. They've since relaxed their dress code a little bit, but it is a really famous high-end casino. It's really fun just to sit outside and watch all the Ferraris and Lamborghinis pull up and watch the valets drive them away. If I had a car like that, I don't know if I'd trust it with the valet. after watching Ferris Bueller.
You read my mind.
Yeah.
It feels like that. I'm going to take your car.
Yeah. And then kind of two last things that I really like in Monaco. One is if you're staying there, to take the train to Nice. It actually follows the seashore. It's a scenic route. And, there's a lot of little villages, villas, different things like that to see. It's a fun thing to take round trip. And if you're staying in Nice, it's fun to take the train to Monaco as well to visit Monaco. And then also in that area, and we've talked about this before, but it's the city of Ez. It's EZ is the name of it. And it is a hilltop town, just fascinating. It was first populated in the year 200 BC.
Wow.
And it was a commune of some sort for some group of people. And then it's been under Greek and Roman control. It is a fascinating small village with narrow streets to walk through. It's actually in France. It's just across the border from Monaco. But that's something definitely should visit if you're in that area.
How did you spell Ez? Did you say E-Z-E?
Yep, it's EZE.
Ez.
My claim to fame there is there was a street vendor making candy-coated almonds.
Oh.
They were so good, except I broke a tooth or lost the filling eating one. I had to go the whole rest of the cruise that I was on, 6 days with a broken tooth.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's definitely worth the visit.
It feels like Monaco is one of those places that you can go to, but no one ever thinks about.
Yes. Yeah. It's just fun to go see that kind of culture that's there. Walk down through the marina in the evening with all the big yachts pulled up. It's just an amazing place to visit. And, as we'll talk about here in a minute, price wise, at least getting there and staying there is not too bad of a price.
So let's make that the hot travel deal of the week. Let's go to Nice/Monte Carlo. What hotel options do we have for listeners this week?
Yeah, so I've picked two in Nice and two in Monaco. And this is using that Delta Airlines vacations discount that we've talked about the last few weeks. It's $200 off Europe vacations. You also get bonus Sky Miles when you use this. So the first two hotels are in Nice. One is the AC Hotel by Marriott, which is a 4-star hotel across the street from the beach. It starts at $14.99 per person. This is for October dates. And, you get into October, the French Riviera, southern France, you're still good weather, but a lot less crowds.
And a little cooler, too.
And a little cooler, yeah.
So that's the $1,500 price that we were talking about start of the show. Oh, and that includes airfare, right?
Yeah, that's airfare and 5 nights hotel.
Oh,
yeah.
That's very doable.
That is, yeah.
Okay.
And then the next hotel is the Best Western Premier Plus, which is a 4-star hotel in the city center, kind of near the train station. And that one starts at $15.89 per person. So that's, within walking distance, a lot of shops and restaurants. City center is a great place to be in most European cities. And then if we move to Monaco, the two that I chose, one was the Riviera Marriott, which is in the port area of Monaco. It's just down the hill from the Princess Palace. It starts at $16.89 per person.
See, that's amazing as well.
Yeah, that's a good price. And then the Le Méridien, which is in the Riviera, so the beach area, starts at $19.89 per person. So all 4 of those hotels are great prices with your airfare from Salt Lake, 5 nights hotel if you want to see southern France.
Take advantage of the hot travel deal of the week. Go to a place that you've never even considered. Monte Carlo, Monaco, Nice, starting at $1,500 per person. That includes the airfare. That is a phenomenal offer. Call Mark in his office. Just get the conversation started. 888-718-7717, 888-718-7717, and he'll also put this on blueplanetvacations.com. When we come back, it is time for the infamous Just Cruising segment, one of the most popular segments of the show. We've got the cruise deal of the week, and we'll be talking about all of the ships coming to us in 2026. That is next when the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show, continues Alongside Mark Faldmo, my name is Patrick Wiscombe. Thank you so much for listening. We will be right back.
Taking you to destinations around the world. The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show is presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show now. 801-649-3700. 801-649-3700. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Inside Travel Talk is brought to you by AMO Waterways. From castles and capitals to vistas and villages, visit some of Europe's most remarkable sites and cities. To set out on your own river cruise journey, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.
Now, back to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show right now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. Here's Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
Ahoy, mateys, and welcome aboard. You are listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show. Alongside Mark Faldmo, my name is Patrick Wiscombe. Coming up in this segment of the show, this is the infamous Just Cruising segment. This is the segment of the show that we are known for around the country and around the world. It is about cruise deals. It is only about the cruise news. And if you've ever wanted to experience a cruise or you are ready to go experience another cruise, this is the segment of the show that you will be most interested in. But first, let's get to the cruise news headlines. Mark, shall we start in Colombia this time?
Let's do. Yeah.
All right. So AMA Waterways is naming their brand new ship called the AMA Magdalena in what they're calling a historic ceremony in Colombia, South America.
This is the company's venture into the Magdalena River in Colombia. The ship, the AMA Magdalena, carries 60 passengers. It has a lot of the similar amenities of other river cruise boats.
Wait,
like
you said 60 as in 60?
60 passengers.
Oh, wow.
It's small, but they do exclusive jazz performance, bird watching expeditions, just some of those small villages and stuff along the river. Just really get you immersed into that culture.
60 passengers. That's not a big boat or ship.
It's not very large. It's a smaller river, but actually this is sold so well. They are going to bring on a second ship later on this year. So they'll have two ships doing the Magdalena River in Colombia.
How many times have you been in Colombia?
Technically, I've been twice, but I don't really count it because it was on a cruise ship stop where we only had 5 hours.
Okay. All right. But you have been there.
I have been there, been to Cartagena twice, and it was wonderful. I'd love to go spend a lot more time in Cartagena.
Travelers are taking fewer vacations, but they're taking longer and more luxurious trips. That sounds like the month of April for Patrick and Nikki.
Yes. Yeah. So it is a trend that I've also been noticing. The trend coming out of COVID was just see everything you can. People were taking multiple trips per year, shorter trips, but just to check things off their bucket list or just to go places. Now people are turning to more, I would say, meaningful vacations.
Yeah.
Where they're longer, they're staying in a little bit nicer place, they're slowing down a little bit to really enjoy the destination they're at rather than try and see everything. I think it's good for the travel industry.
Let's talk about all the new cruise ships coming in 2026. There's going to be a fair number.
So there are 16 new ships coming out in 2026. We're not going to talk about all of them, but we'll talk about a few of them. Windstar Cruise Line, which is more of the smaller yacht type cruising, has their new ship, the Star Seeker. They also have sailing ships, but this is one of their motored yachts, I guess you would say, has the Star Seeker. It technically is December 28th of this year. Its maiden passenger voyage will be in 2026. One that I find interesting, the Four Seasons. So of the Four Season hotels is venturing into cruising and yachting. They will have their ship come out, and it's a smaller cruise ship that holds 190 passengers.
Oh, wow.
One that I am very interested in is the Norwegian Luna, which comes out in March of 2026. We've talked a little bit about that one. That will hold just over 3,500 passengers.
Nikki and I were on the newest ship, which was the Norwegian Aqua. That was in April, and this is their follow-up.
March of 2026. Its maiden season will be the Caribbean from Miami. Here's another interesting one that I'm kind of interested in. Orient Express is coming out with a new cruise ship in June. So they're the train, the famous Orient Express.
Oh, yeah.
And they also have a few hotels. So they're coming out with a 100-passenger yacht that will sail the Mediterranean and French and Italian Rivieras. Another one of the big ships, the Legend of the Seas from Royal Caribbean, will come out in August. And it will be the biggest one we're going to talk about today.
Hold on.
Over 5,600 passengers.
Is this bigger than Icon of the Seas? Or is it an Icon class ship, but it's a little smaller?
It's an Icon class ship, and it will be, I believe it is slightly smaller.
That ship, Icon of the Seas, it is so large that it kind of breaks your head because you've never seen a ship that large.
Yes. Yeah.
Legend of the Seas. So September 2026.
Yeah. And then Explora, which we've talked about a few times on this show. Explora they're about 1,000 passengers ships, but it's kind of a luxury line owned by MSC Cruises. They have some fantastic itineraries, and the ship is amazing as well.
Well, is this Explora 2 or Explora 3?
This is Explora 3.
Okay.
Explora 2 is just out now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So Explora 3. And then, of course, the big one is from MSC. Did they finally determine a name?
Yeah. I was wrong when we talked about the Legend of the Seas. MSC World Asia is larger. It's nearly 7,000 passengers.
Whoa.
And it comes out towards the end of the year, December 11th. And its maiden season will be in the Mediterranean.
Now, Nikki and I were on MSC World America. Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Beautiful ship in April. So MSC World Asia in the Mediterranean, December 11th, 2026.
Correct.
Dude, that is some serious shippage.
Yes. Yeah.
Not sure why I said shippage.
So, and then there's a few others. Viking Ocean Cruise Lines has 2 ships coming out. American Cruise Lines has a ship coming out that will be, I believe it's one of the Coastal Cats. Both of those hold about 125 passengers. Lots of new cruise ships, 16 in total, coming out in 2026.
I've been asked this question, and I know you have too. When is the best time to book your cruise? And it is right when they announce these ships. And I'm assuming that they are selling these now.
They are, yeah. And in fact, that's going to be our cruise deal of the week. We're going to talk about 3 of the cruise ships.
Where do you want to start on this one? Norwegian Luna, then?
Yeah. Let's start with the Norwegian Luna. So this one I was looking at an April 11th sailing. So it's had the ship about 3 weeks or so to get worked in to its schedule full of passengers. That starts at $929 per person for an inside cabin, or $1,649 for a balcony. And for a brand new cruise ship,
that's phenomenal.
That's a pretty good price. Yeah, and that one alternates Eastern and Western. This one in particular was the Eastern Caribbean, which went to Great Stirrup Cay, Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and Tortola.
That is a phenomenal price for a brand new ship, which, by the way, just in case for comparison purposes, Icon of the Seas is still booking for basically double that. Sometimes triple that number.
Yeah, well, and along those lines, let's go into the Royal Caribbean Legend of the Seas.
Yeah.
September 6th of 2026 is the date that I chose. This is in the Mediterranean. Its ports are pretty good. It's Barcelona, Palma de Mallorca, Marseille, La Spezia, Rome, Naples, and back to Barcelona.
Whoa.
So it's that typical Western Mediterranean.
That's still pretty good, though.
It's a great itinerary, and it's pricing. And actually, this is one you might as well get a balcony. The inside cabins start at $17.29 per person, and a balcony starts at $19.85 per person.
Oh, yeah. Get the balcony, especially at that price.
Yeah. And then let's move on to the MSC World Asia, which will be in the Western Mediterranean as well. So this was December 14th of 2026, and it's round trip Rome. Its ports are Messina in Sicily. One of my favorite ports is Valletta in Malta.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of cruise lines go to Malta anymore, but it's a fascinating port. Then it goes to Barcelona, Marseille, Genoa, Italy, and back to Rome. And that starts at $13.37 for an inside. And again, you might as well go with a balcony because it's not that much more, starting at $15.87 per person.
That's for a brand new ship.
Brand new ship.
So that's World Asia, MSC World Asia. Wow.
Yeah.
Take advantage of those offers. Absolutely phenomenal. Call Mark in his office. Just get the conversation started. There's no obligation. 888-718-7717. 888-718-7717. And you can also get all of his contact information on blueplanetvacations.com. You can listen to this show again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. right here on this radio station and around the country at 11 a.m. So whatever radio station you're listening to, 11 o'clock tomorrow. And you can stream, download, and subscribe to the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. And you can also just stream the show. If you're not a podcaster, just hit play. You can stream the show right on InsideTravelTalk.com. And we're on all of the major podcast platforms if you would like to subscribe. Well, our job is done. Now it's your turn to get out and explore the world while you can, because you never know what curveballs life is going to throw at you. Live your life deliberately, live your life intentionally, and thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you again next week.
That's it. That's the end of the show. You've been listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show with Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Book your adventure right now. Call 888-718-7717. That's 888-718-7717. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
This segment of Inside Travel Talk is sponsored by El Dorado Spa Resorts. Escape to Cancun's Riviera Maya with authentic, all-inclusive luxury at an El Dorado Spa Resort. To book your romantic beach getaway, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.